So when Christine and I first met, I had been in jail, pregnant with my son. I got an opportunity from the jailers. They said, "Hey, Family Resource can come see you." And I said, "Okay, yeah, that'd be great. Someone to see." Don't get a whole lot of visitors there. So at first, I was really hesitant to the idea. Totally new person coming in to teach me about this baby that I'm gonna be having at some point. It was wild. But her and I met a few times while I was incarcerated, and upon getting out, after a couple months of getting things figured out with my child's father and what we had going on with an open CPS case, I had reached out to Family Resource Center again and said, "Hey, this is something that I would like to pick back up." So at that point, Christine had come out and met with myself and my kid's father, Andrew, and we started our work again through there. I have been working with Christine for, oh, almost 3 years now. It's just shy of 3 years, from my pregnancy up until now. And through Christine, after my children's father left me a few months after finding out I was pregnant with our daughter, I was in a home that was falling apart, no electricity, running off of a generator, trying to fit my life around getting my son full time back in my life instead of living with his father's parents. And Christine helped me through a lot of the hoops that I was trying to jump through for CPS. And with no idea where to go for a living situation, she opened up the TBER program, and I got set up with that. My CPS agent pushed so that I could be put in a shelter, which is where I had my daughter. I had about 1 month left in the shelter when I gave birth to her. And through the TBER program, I was able to meet up with Westcap and get myself into an apartment that I'm still currently staying in, 2 bedroom for me and the kiddos. And if I hadn't had the help from Family Resource Center and the CPS agent that I had been working with, I don't know that I would have made it here on my own, or at least the road would have been a lot harder. There have definitely been a lot of great resources that have been opened up to me through working with Family Resource Center. And there are a lot of parents that I see struggling and going through some of the same things I was. And I'm like, "Hey, look, maybe you should look towards them because they're so helpful." And everyone that I've ever met that's worked for Family Resource Center has always just been so nice and understanding. So after about 2 years of working with Christine, just as my parent educator, she called me one day and asked if I would like to participate as a co-parent presenter for protective factors. And she thought that, her and I would work well together. And given a lot of my past experiences, that protective factors would be such a great thing for me to try and do. At this point, I have done 2 rounds of that. We just finished our second, and in protective factors, we do some mock trials of Parent Cafe. So it's something that I was familiar with, but had never done myself. COVID hit, and it wasn't really an availability for a while there. So now that they have opened up virtual parent cafes, Christine had brought up the idea of me being a part of that as well. And I loved the idea because I absolutely love doing protective factors, being able to kind of have professionals look at the parent aspect and taking off their professional hats for a little while and see through the eyes of a parent if they aren't themselves already was really great. I mean, it's work that makes me feel good by the time I'm done. It's something I enjoy. The training period that I've gone through, just being able to talk to other parents or people who have needed to be in a parental role, even if they aren't parents themselves, was really great. I mean, you get an understanding of someone else and can relate pieces of their life to the things that you've been going through, and that doesn't always happen every day. Especially with everything that's going on with COVID, the social connections part of our lives has become very lacking. And I think the online form of parent cafe is really great because it gives people the opportunity to, even if you know you have something going on, you can still just at home log into this. You don't have to worry about, oh, well, what if I can't drive there? What if all of these things are going on? I don't have a vehicle. It's just you find internet and here you are. And everyone is just so open and understanding. I love the non-judgment form of everything in Parent Cafe. I mean, there are so many people that are afraid to talk about what they do as parents because they're afraid, especially in scenarios like this where they are talking to professionals. They're afraid of, well, if I'm not doing something that's great or I'm not parenting the right way, what if I get turned into CPS? And it's like, everyone has bad days. Everyone has bad days, and parenting isn't easy. That's the part I love the most about Parent Cafe is the fact that these are all other parents. They've probably done some of the same things, and even if they haven't, they can understand why. And that's the best part about the Parent Cafe is just the openness and the understanding that you don't generally find elsewhere. It's never easy to come by people like that, and I love the structure of the Parent Cafe because it's so free flowing and it's just a conversation. It's not scripted. It's you bring up a question for the day and people talk about that. They talk about it and relate to some of the protective factors as well. It's more of the parent version of protective factors, but it still all ties back in. And some people don't even understand that they've been applying protective factors to everything they do because it's not something that's widely known.